The worship of fire is known in various real-world religions. The term fire worshipper is associated with the Zoroastrian religion. Zoroastrianism is a monotheistic religion which centered around the creator god, but also contained dualistic elements, a cosmology of good and evil eternally at odds. Fire was considered to be a symbol of purity and righteousness. A fire burns ever upward and cannot itself be polluted. In A Song of Ice and Fire, the worship of Relor seems to be based quite a bit on Zoroastrianism. In the Red Woman's fire religion, her god, the benevolent Relor, is at constant odds with a being known as the Great Other, who is the champion of darkness and the antithesis to everything that her god is. A priest of Relor can receive messages or instructions from their god by staring into the flames and interpreting what they see. Melisandre understands that this is not an exact process and that it is an art and must be learned and honed over years. Melisandre claims herself to be one of the best among the Red Priest, stating that she has studied her art for years beyond count, and that no other in her order had matched her. From what we have seen, however, of other Red Priests, it seems that they all have varying abilities. Thoros of Myr barely even believed in his god until he discovered that by uttering sacred words, he could awaken Beric Dondarrion from death. Whether or not Thoros would have the power to awaken another man from death is unclear. Moqorro is another Red Priest in our story. Moqorro seems to be quite certain of his powers and his god. He managed to save Victarion from death, healing his arm and making it stronger in the process. Moqorro also survived at sea, while many others perished, and his prophecies to Victarion so far have been accurate, though it is clear that Moqorro knows far more than he is letting on, and things likely will not bode well for Victarion. Melisandre's abilities include being able to drink poison and not die, shadow binding, which includes the ability to send Stannis' shadow out into the night to do her bidding, and the ability to glamour, which according to the books, works by twisting shadows. All three of these Red Priests look into the flames to commune with their god. But there is another who has communed with the flames, but he is only mentioned once, a man that Varys met as a boy. I was in terror. I feared the man meant to use me as I had heard men use small boys, but in truth, the only part of me he had need of was my manhood. He gave me a potion that made me powerless to move or speak, yet did nothing to dull my senses. With a long hooked blade, he sliced me root and stem, chanting all the while. I watched him burn my manly parts on the brazier. The flames turned blue, and I heard a voice answer his call, though I did not understand the words they spoke. Yet I still dream of that night, my lord, not of the sorcerer, nor his blade, nor even the way my manhood shriveled as it burned. I dreamed of the voice from the flames. Was it a god, a demon, some conjurer's trick? I could not tell you, and I know all the tricks. All I can say for a certainty is that he called it, and it answered. And since that day I have hated magic and all those who practice it. Though all the Red Priests in our story have interpreted visions from the flames, none have actually spoken to the flames and had a voice speak back to them. It is possible that Varys imagined or hallucinated this, considering the fact that he was given a potion, but it greatly affected his outlook on life, and he seems convinced that what he saw and heard was real. Interestingly enough, the flames turned blue. Blue flame over the course of this series is associated with the others, whose eyes are said to burn like ice. Could the man have been communing with the great other, the enemy of Melisandre's religion, who she claims is the leader of the others? Surely he must have some followers on Earth, just as Relor has. This is just one piece of evidence which suggests that there is more than one entity who can commune with mortals through the fire. The fire is not exclusively Relor's to own, whatever or whoever he is. In her dance with dragons, Melisandre glimpses Bloodraven and Bran through the flames. She is terrified because Bloodraven can see her through the fire, and for an instant she believes that he is the great other. If Bloodraven in fact can see Melisandre through her own flames, does this not imply that outside magical forces can affect what people see inside the fires? The point is, when one is skilled enough to dive into the ether and seek answers in the flames, how can they know truly who or what answers them? Fire could merely be a gateway, an elemental link to the unseen deeper powers that truly move their world. A tool that anyone with the knowledge of how could use to manipulate others to do great good or great evil. Such a being would never reveal itself to all those who look into the flames, but only to a select few that it could use for whatever purpose. It seems silly to suggest that only one being could have this power. I use the word being here intentionally in order to stay vague. It doesn't have to be a god. It could be a person or an organization like the Church of the Starry Wisdom or something else. I have suggested previously that Melisandre was being manipulated by the Church of the Starry Wisdom. I believe the Church of the Starry Wisdom is also influencing Daenerys. If the Church of the Starry Wisdom can send visions through fires, then it would make sense why Daenerys sees visions in the flames upon lighting Khal Drogo's funeral pyre, which she was guided to do based on her dreams. In that chapter, the flames take on magical characteristics and are described similarly to what Melisandre sees when she looks into her own flames. We have yet to meet a character who is fully omniscient in our story. No one truly knows the extent or complexity of the magical world of A Song of Ice and Fire, which weaves its way through their reality. How's it going, guys? Thanks everyone for watching. I just want to take this time to give some special thanks to some very special patrons. In particular, Trini Girl and Cher Valentine. You two are awesome. You two are my top patrons, so thank you very much. We just did a live stream over on Patreon a few days ago, so you can check that out. It was a patron-only stream, and it's still posted up there. You can find the link on Patreon, and we will be doing those every single month on Patreon. All of your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.